All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Hump Day. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to be going over our trading view indicator called IWJ Pivot Point Pro today. We'll be trading with that. It's what we use every day in my room, and what we use today and swing trade. Just refreshing the screen here to get the levels refreshed so that I have the correct ones for the day, and then we'll get into some of the counts and different things that we'll go through before we um, get started here. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about what we're doing today. If you're new here, we are going to be live trading with our indicator called IWJ Pivot Point Pro. Yesterday it killed. You can see we had a loser right at the beginning of the day here. They tried to get a buy in, it didn't work, but we got this buy signal, which is a winner. We got this buy signal, which was a winner. We got this buy signal, which was a nice winner. We got this sell signal, which was a nice winner. And that was a really good day overall. So 4 winners, 1 loser. We don't trade in the afternoon, so we stop trading at 10 a.m. And what this indicator does is it's forward looking and it's price action. So it's looking for key levels to trade off of. It's calculating about 175 different points of interest. Each of those points is weighted differently. So for instance, a heavy support or resistance zone would be weighted more than, say, a moving average cross or something like that. And that's because we want to be based on price action, and we want to be based on forward looking items, not backwards looking. So if you're looking for trades, especially day trades when the market moves fast, you don't want to be late to the party. You don't want to be getting a buy signal, after 2 big bars up. You want to be getting a buy signal near the bottom and a sell signal near the top. And that's what this aims to do. As you can see yesterday, we, got the top or the bottom 3 different times and the top 1 time for 4 winners there. And that's the whole power of the indicators. It's not, getting a reversal off a key level. This blue line's a key level, getting a reversal off that level and then giving you a buy signal way up here. It's giving you a buy signal pretty darn close to the bottom on each one of these. So that's really what it aims to do. It is a reversal indicator, so it's looking for tops and bottoms. And if we go to the settings, you're going to see that we're also looking at the futures for the ES and the futures for the NASDAQ at the same time that we're looking at, in this case, the SPY. The reason for that is we want to see all 3 markets doing the same thing, because that indicates broad buying or broad selling, which is gives you a much better chance at having a winning trade. If the ES is going up and the NQ is going down, which does happen sometimes, you don't want to be trying to buy the market or sell the market there, because you have 2 different directions on the 2 major indexes, and those are going to push and pull each other because they cross over quite a bit. And you're going to get a lot of chop, and it's not going to be a great trading environment. So we're looking for all 3 to be in confluence so that we can get better trading odds there. It does come with stops, long stops and short stops. The crossover and cross under alert is a feature that will be finished later. Right now we keep it unchecked, but it's essentially working. We're working on trying to not only identify squeezes, but which direction they go. But that is not a finished product yet, so we can just leave those unchecked for now. It can be used on any stock, any index, anything out there. It can be used on any of that. And it can be used for day and swing trading. In last week's live, we went over Microsoft. You got like a 70-point move up and a 60-point move down on Microsoft, captured with the weekly indicator, the swing trade. And we go over all of that. So when you purchase the indicator, it brings you to this page here. and you give me your trading view name so I can give you access to it. And then below, and if you don't have a trading view account, by the way, there is a link here to get one at a discount. So don't sign up for trading view before you get the indicator. Get the indicator and then sign up for trading view, because you'll get a discounted account here. It'll be cheaper for you to do that. Tells you what you need. You need at least the essential account on TradingView for the indicator, and you need the real-time data add-on for the ES and NQ, and that's about $7 a month. So once you get all that, you come down and you have videos on how to do everything. So setting up TradingView, setting up the indicator, day trading strategy, trend day strategy. So trend days are not good days to trade. We try to identify them as early as possible. And that's our trend day strategy there, and then our weekly strategy for swing trading. So everything you need is in there. And if you come over to our membership plans page here, investwithjacob.com/member-plans, you scroll down the indicator here, it's $59 a month, 30-day money-back guarantee, $5.90 for the year, so you get 2 months for free on the yearly, 30-day money-back guarantee. I always tell everybody, get it and try it. You can paper trade it, you can just watch it. You don't have to spend any money whatsoever. You can just see if it works. And then if it doesn't, or you don't like it, you get this 30-day money-back guarantee. We have some great deals today. So with the code monthly30, you get $30 off your first, or 30% off your first month. So this is $59 right now. That would be about $18 off or so. I think it's $41.30. So you're getting your first month for $41.30 plus the money back guarantee. And if you want the yearly, I'm giving you my Elliott Wave 4 beginners course, which if you scroll down here, Elliott Wave 4 beginners course and advanced Elliott Wave course, you get those for free if you get the yearly. It's $177 value. So some really good deals today. We're going to show you how it works live on the chart. We're going to be trading live today once the market opens here in about 20 minutes. And that's what we have for that. Are there any questions about any of that before I get into the counts and all of the other stuff? All right. So on the ES, we talked about this. If you don't watch my videos, you should subscribe to my channel. I put out a video. I try to put out 4 a week. This last month or so has been extremely hectic. We've had death in the family. We've been moving. Just a lot going on. And so I've not been able or as consistent with videos because of that. But for the last 4 years, I put out 4 videos a week, and sometimes 5. And then also training videos, and I have a podcast as well that I just started called The Subconscious Trader, about the psychological aspects. But as we talked about in yesterday's video that I put out on YouTube, we have a pretty clean ABC down here. Now the question is, are we done with this pullback? We would like to see them generally come back to the 1, 2, 3, 6, but they pulled back far enough, excuse me, for this to be a valid wave 4. And then we could start higher here. It's certainly possible this can be a 1-2, and kind of look for a 1-2 breakout. And we're looking for 6,400 overall, even if they fail here, up around 6,300. So the other alternate here is that this is ABC, and this is going to be ABC for B. Then you get a C wave down towards that 6,200 area, and then higher. And we're looking at, in either case there, we're looking for 6,400. Now, as long as support holds, that is the case. And this is how Elliott Wave theory works. You take the literally infinite number of paths that the market has, and you narrow it down to a few with key levels. So right now our key level to hold here is 62.4725. If they want to try to keep this as a ABC for wave 4, but the real key level, because you already have kind of a 1-2 setup, is going to be right here, this low at 62.60. this is going to be our key level. So if they break below 6260, it's going to be very likely they're going to go, so because this is 6260, so this is your wave 2 low. So if they're starting wave 3, they can't come back down below this. If they do, they're very likely to break on down to 6200. So 6260 is our first key level. Our next key level is 6218. Well, 6246, the wave 4 low, but then 6218, and then 6160. If they break 6160, that changes how we view the market, and we may need to adjust. Now, elliott wave theory isn't, this is the primary count, so this is what we trade. That's not how it works. Pathing and trading are very different things. So pathing is what's most likely to happen as your primary, and what's the next most likely to happen as your secondary, and occasionally you get a third count in there. Trading is you look at those pathing options and then you get a setup for them, and then you trade them. So in this case, maybe a setup could be, you have ABC down, right? So we're looking for 6400. So we've made a high here. We'd be looking for this to be a 1 2 1 2. And if they can do that and then come back out and take out this high at about 6291 or so, so coming back and breaking through, we would enter long looking for that 6400 area. That would be a setup. And the reason it's a good setup is because you know where your stop is. It's at about 6268, and you know where your target is up at 6400. It's a low risk, high reward trade that plays out a majority of the time. Now remember, majority means 51% or higher. So when I say a majority of the time, that doesn't mean 100%. In that particular setup, it usually means about 60 to 65, maybe even 70. And that's about as high as you're ever going to get for probabilities in the market. Trading isn't about a single trade. It isn't about a single day, week, or even month. It's about a system and a mindset that work. It's about finding an edge in the market and then applying that edge relentlessly. So if you think about flipping a coin, right, it's a 50-50 proposition, either heads or tails. The probability tells you that you have just as good of a guess at either side. But you may flip a coin and get heads 20 times in a row. I've seen it in roulette where it's red, black, and you get red 20 times in a row. That doesn't mean the probability isn't 50-50. It just means that that's how it landed that many times. But the law of big numbers will tell you that over time it will be 50-50. Same thing goes with trading. We look for about a 60 to 65% win rate, which means you're going to lose 35 to 40% of the time. You might lose 10 in a row. You might lose 20 in a row. But over time, you're going to win 60% of your trades. And if you do the structure right and you do the risk reward right, you will be a winning trader. That's how we are winning traders. We have a great risk reward structure. We have a great trading plan, and we have a great edge, and we apply it relentlessly. We just do it over and over again. So each individual trade is a useless thing to dwell on, because losing is part of trading, and as long as you followed the rules and lost, it was a good trade. Now some of you may think that's crazy, but trading a good setup is a good trade regardless of how you look at it, whether you win or lose. Trading a bad setup is a bad trade, whether you win or lose, because it reinforces bad habits. It makes you want to try bad trades again, and ultimately, over time, that will take all of your money. You can see our results here for the last 2 years. And the reason I bring these up is because I want you to see that in March of 2024, we lost money. In November and December, we lost money, but the other 9 months, we made money, and overall, on a $100,000 account trading 25 contracts, we made $35,000 last year. That's 35% on your money on the year. This year, we made some tweaks to the indicator. We are already at 34,375, basically already here. So in the last 18 months, we've made $70,000 on a 100K account. And we've had losing months. May was a losing month for us. It wasn't great. But the other 5 months were. And that's all that matters, is that you do this consistently and understand that there are downswings and there are upswings, and you can clearly see the upswings outweigh the downswings. So trading isn't about any single trade. It isn't about anything other than having an edge. You have to have an edge, and then only trading that edge over and over again. What happens is people get lazy or bored, and they change the trading rules. They just trade because they think something's gonna happen, or they trade because they simply want action. Those are gamblers. Those are people who are not consistently making money in the market. They're just shooting from the hip. There are people who can't stand the thought of a losing trade, so they try a system one time and the first trade loses and they're like, this doesn't work. Or they try it for a week or whatever and this doesn't work. There are people who get too stressed out about trading and close them too soon. That means you're likely trading too much money. So understanding both the psychological and the mechanical side of trading is very, very important. And that's what the indicator helps you do. It takes away emotion if you follow the rules and you simply follow the buys and sells. You will do very well. Now we don't trade the blue or yellow because it's very choppy. It's low volume trading, and one of the major factors of the indicator is high volume areas. So it struggles to understand what a high volume area is in the after hours. So we don't trade any of that. We do trade the regular trading hours, and we only trade till 10 a.m. So that's where we are at right now. Are there any questions? I didn't get the discount. I forgot to add it in. I'll be honest, I am not sure I can do that one on the back end. I'll take a look though, perhaps after the live stream, shoot me a DM or something in the Discord. I do not see the Mentor one day min and max. Does that come out at market open? No, it's on here. We can go through the key levels here. We got a couple minutes here, about 10 minutes. So our key levels today, we've got our new levels up. So our one day max is up here about 626 and 626.50. There's a couple different major levels. If you're new to what we do here, one day max is basically the area we expect the market to hold to the upside. We would not expect it to go too much further than this on a given day. It doesn't have to even come up to this. We're just saying if it does get on a runaway train to the upside, this would likely contain it. You also have a major call wall here at 625. So keep that in mind. You have high volume levels at 620 and 619. You have another call wall down here at 618, so they're over one of the call walls. The next, another high volume level at 616, and put support down here at 615 with the one day min just below that at 614 and change. So the fact that we have 614 to the downside for the one day min and 626 to the upside tells me, or I'm sorry, 625 to the upside, no, 626, yeah, for the one day max. And 625 is our call wall. That tells me we're likely going to have a bigger, a wider range today, and maybe even a trend day. Looks like possibly up. We'll see how this all plays out. But the wide call and put walls, along with the wide one day max and min, tell me that volatility may be high today, and we may see a lot of movement, whether it be in one direction or more than one direction. How's Mr. Rooster? He's putting in work. Of course, Jack, he would never stop crowing. Thing never shuts up. For the NASDAQ, same basic setup. We have our three and potentially looking for a little deeper for a wave four, but they have enough in place. So it's the same as the ES. This can be 4 and a 1, 2. And then higher, we're looking for 23.5 to 24,000 on the NASDAQ. Have been for quite a while. The key level for the NASDAQ first is going to be 22,851. If they break that, they're very likely to come down and at least test 22.7, and then the 22.6 area. After that, if they break down below this 22.6 area, then 22,400 is the level we really want them to hold. If they don't hold that, it becomes a little problematic for the bulls. That is generally too large of a pullback off this kind of structure. They can still make it a diagonal higher if they want, but 22.4 is where we really want them to hold. Below that starts to get problematic. Got about 7 minutes until the open. Again, if you're new here, we are trading the IWJ Pivot Point Pro indicator. It is a forward-looking price action indicator, calculates about 175 things, and is crushing the market. If you rewind the video just a little bit, you'll see the results we have over the last 18 months. They're astounding. It has been an absolute crusher if you understand the market and follow the rules. It's very simple. When it says buy, you buy. When it says sell, you sell. And then there are a couple of caveats like trend days and things, but for the most part, super duper simple. I wanted it to be very easy. I only look at one chart. I don't need to look at multiple charts. You can look at as many as you want, but I think you're wasting time doing that. If I was going to look at multiple charts, I would have individual stocks open, like that I like to day trade or swing trade, and then I'd look at those. But for me, I like to keep it simple, stupid, because the more complicated you make things, then the harder it is to manage them. And if you keep it simple and you manage a nice, easy, high quality trading edge, your account gets to go up, and it makes it really simple. We will be, as of right now, that could change, but as of right now, we will be looking for a sell at the open. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up so I'm ready. And right now, give me 1 second here. Right now it looks like we're wanting to trade a 622 strike. Guys, if you come here looking to get rich quick, you came to the wrong channel. We are a steady, high-quality trading platform. That's what we do at Invest with Jacob. We are not trying to put out fake BS about things that are going to happen, like, oh, you're going to be rich overnight, and all these dumb things, or this trade's set to go to 400%. That's all ridiculous bullshit. We put out high-quality trades. We take wins. We take losses, but we take way more wins than losses, and we make money. Yesterday we had a trade that I didn't stop out, but people in my room did. So I actually made extra money on that trade, but because people in my room stopped out, I had amended the trade back to the stop out because I'm not trying to fudge the numbers or make anybody mislead anybody. Everything I put out is accurate and to the point. Um, because I care about my traders and I care about you guys and I want you to succeed. That is the most important thing to the people in my room for me is that they succeed. And whether that's whether succeeding means they are um, fully understand everything right away and crushing the market and doing a great job and following the rules, or it means changing a trader's mind set, trading their mindset, changing their mindset in a way that makes them start to be a winning trader for the first time. I've had lots of traders come in and say, "Wow, I've never had so many rules," or somebody lay out a way to trade. I shouldn't say so many rules because there's not that many rules. Lay out a way to trade that is successful and easy to follow. People always just give trades and walk away. That's not what I do in my room. I try to teach trading philosophy. I try to teach proper trading habits, proper trading setups, all of those things so that you can become a better trader. Um, I try to protect people's the biggest reason I started doing this is I know what is ahead. Um, at least I think I do. And I know that a lot of people aren't expecting it, and I wanted to help them protect their money. Last year we moved our 401k into a precious metals fund that is up over 70, 80% almost. So while everybody else was wallowing around sideways in the markets, we were going up and up and up in our 401k and putting away money, saving up for what's to come. So welcome to the stream, everybody who's never been here before. Welcome to the stream, everybody who's been here before. We're here to make money. That's what we do. So I hope you're on board for that. Whether we make money today or not is irrelevant. We make money in general, and that's the whole point. Our trade setup, guys, are well, we're about to open, but our risk reward, we do take our first take at 20%. So we take a 20% profit, we close half the trade, and then we let our runners run. And that 20% win cancels out most of our stops, so that our runners are basically profit. All right, we're getting ready to open here, so 22 seconds. Like I said, we're looking for a sell, but they are setting the pre-market high right now. So they do have and we do have a wide runway. So we could see a little bit of a breakout. I want to see what the internals look like when we do open here. RTY is green and leading. That is a bullish development. Dow Jones Transports are green, although slightly green. That is bullish. The banks are green. That is bullish. SMH and NVIDIA are green. That's what the rest of the Mag 7's doing. Looking pretty green everywhere so far. Tesla's a little red, bouncing around, but mostly green across the board. So internals are green. Right now we do have a bullish day on our hands. They are starting off at the high of the day and through it. So we'll see how they turn here. We always take the first sell. And so we're gonna when we have a trend day, I should say. So when we're trending, right, we're trending up here. We don't necessarily want to try to sell against this very often. So a trend day is breaking the pre-market high. Now we'd look for them to come back and test VWAP and hold VWAP in the 21 here. As long as they hold that, we would expect them to continue and a trend for the rest of the day. I should say, as long as they hold this and then come back and take out whatever high they made, then we would expect them to trend for the rest of the day. If they don't hold this and they break down, that can be a failed breakout, and we'd be looking for the pre-market low down here at 619.19, which is right below this high volume level at 620. So bullish breakout here to start. We do have call resistance up here at 625, and we have our one-day max up at 626, right? Yeah. So we have the 626.50 area. That's our area of interest. $6,300 on the SPX is a extremely big call wall. We got to keep that in mind. That's still 50 points higher, so there's plenty of room for them to push up here. Hi, Jacob. Copper. Wow. I haven't looked at copper. I'm guessing it broke out. Metals have been pretty good, so I'm guessing copper broke out. Morning, Sam. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the stream, Krabs, Williamstown, Jack, George, Sam. Glad to have you guys here. If I put, let me put this other market up real quick. Oh, gosh darn it. That's not what I wanted to do. It kind of is. My point there, if you can see that chart, I know you can see that chart. We're getting pretty vertical here. And they've made all-time highs off this pretty vertical run. And it's a diagonal type structure. And it's oversold, and it's negative divergence on the MACD, and there's a lot of other things that are concerning for just the overall market. So we would expect, even if they're going to push higher, when they do turn down, we would expect it to be pretty sharp. Decent push off of VWAP here to start the day. Bulls opening strongly. They opened at the pre-market high and pushed right up. So this does have the makings of a trend day, which unfortunately are not great trading days, but we'll see if they, again, we take the first sell signal we get, because very often they'll at least come back and touch VWAP in the 21 and then continue, which is how trend days are started. And you know, we should have enough value there to get a winning trade, and if they break down and fail, get a monster trade. So they're at the 6,300 area. This is resistance on the ES. We would be looking for them to potentially fail here, at least a short-term fail. If we go over to the ES and look real quick, our 6,300 level right here is the 618. They're at it. It's also this sell-off right here and this sell-off here. So tons of resistance in this zone up to 63.15, 13 basically, which is also the 1618. So a lot of resistance in this zone that they're in right now. We'll see if we can get a rejection. There's the start of one. We're at 623 as our strike now. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your summer. It's a beautiful summer here in Washington so far. Doesn't really get to be summer in Washington until after July 4th. June's hit or miss. It can be very, very um, spring slash even some borderline wintry, um, up to very hot. And this year was pretty decent. It was nice. The weekly high is 624.03, so that will be a point of contention as well. So this whole area here around 6,300 on the ES is a um, strong resistance zone. 6,300 on the SPX, also a strong resistance zone. Again, that's still about 40 points away, which would take us right up to around that 1-day max on the ES, or on the SPY, I should say. Thoughts on the petrol sector? This stream is just for the indicator, George, on the SPY. It's our day trading stream. If you join my rooms, I'm not sure if you remember or not, but if you are, you can ask that on the daily call. We go over everything on the daily call. We go over the Mag 7, whatever stocks you guys want to see, I'll pull up and we'll go through, as well as gold, silver, Bitcoin, RTY, transports, all that stuff, banks. At this point, I'd prefer the rejection to happen at 625 or 626, just because those are very strong key levels. And a lot of times, if you get a rejection on the way there, it's a kind of false rejection. So we're moving up. If they reject here, a lot of times that's a false rejection. Then they get up here and reject. So we'll see if we can wait until 625 or not. At 624.03, I mean, that is the weekly high. We are on Wednesday, so the weekly high does have some merit now. Thoughts on super chats? $5 per symbol. Ah, man, you brought that up last week, I think, too. I completely forgot about that. I gotta see how to do that. Let me set up super chats. Let me see. And they pushed through the weekly high there. So we've got a new high this week, and if you're in my rooms, if you follow me at all, I've tried very hard to say how bullish this is, how bullish the first 2 weeks of July are, how bullish July in general is, and that we should be seeing, them push over the next week or so, which we have. Okay, let's see if we get anything here. Strong push from the bulls here off the open. They are pushing toward that 625 zone that we will look for a rejection off of, potentially 626. You want them to get there fast, so this is a good thing. If you're looking for rejection, the faster they get there, the more likely they are to reject. If they come up here just short and then pull back and then come back up, they're likely to kind of hold this area and push through. But if they get up here fast, right to a key level, they're very often going to reject that, at least, you know, a decent pullback. It doesn't have to be a full rejection failure. But the faster they move into a support or resistance, the more likely they are to reject it. Especially on a first-time basis. Thoughts about gap fills. Welcome to the stream, Stockfather. As far as are they going to fill the gap or how often do they fill the gap? I mean, gap fills are fine. If they so if they have a gap and you get a failed breakdown, you're very likely to come at least fill that gap, but very often you're going to come to the pre-market low. Same thing to the downside. If they gap down and then they fail to break down, very often you're going to get a gap fill in those instances. But when they break out, so if this is the well, we have it right here. Let's see. So yesterday's close was down here at 620. They opened at whatever 622 and change. If they get back below this, then it's very likely they're going to come down to yesterday's close and fill that gap, as well as the pre-market low, which is right below it. And that's going to be if they break 622.80 where they opened. That's when screens start to turn into the red side of things, and we start to see the market push down. And once they break that level, so it's very common for them to come back and test. And then if they break, continue down to the close or pre-market low, and if they hold, trend. But gap fills to me are just part of price action. They're there and they do fill them and hold them as support. But I don't like trade for them, I guess is what I would say. I don't know if it'll be on this stream, George, but I did just enable super chats and stuff. So may not be on this one because it was already started, but next time I think we're good. Yeah, for now the put will be at 624. Good point out there. It's always just going to be one out of the money. Sometimes right at the money. So if they, if it's at like 623.90 or something, I'll still take 624 as the put. So remember, we have bullish context everywhere. Now, does that mean they can't melt down? No, but actually, so the ADD is turning down strongly, and when you see them break out to the upside while the advanced decline line is declining, very often this is going to be a false or weak breakout that's going to get rejected. You're also seeing the Vold have a little bit of red in it. So we'll keep an eye out. We may get a good reversal here. The ADD is a very good indicator for that. But we still have bullish context other than that. Sorry, I just went back to the internals and saw that. At any rate, what we what we have here is a bullish move, but the ADD weakening, telling us that this is probably concentrated in the Mag 7, and if they start to turn, this will start to turn down, and you very often see that, especially off of a major level like 625. So that would be great. Hopefully we get a trade signal off of that. But we do have overall bullish context, so we don't want to chase the sell, right? We don't want to chase the put. We'll give them a shot at it, and if it doesn't work out, we may take one more. So if they give us a sell like right here, and it doesn't work out, and they push up to 625 and give us a sell, we may take that one, or 626, because those are very key levels. But for the most part, we got bullish context, so we don't want to try to overtrade this, and we'll be patient and wait till tomorrow if we need to. Wednesdays have been a little trendy lately. They've been hard to trade. Plenty of people were betting for the 6200 ES yesterday. Overnight crew was making them reverse those trades. Yeah, for sure. For swing trades using the indicator, do you wait until the end of the day on Fridays to enter your swings? Maybe not all the way to the end of the day. I mean, if it's a pretty obvious move, for instance, let's say on Monday it starts to do this, and you're looking for a buy signal, and by Friday, and you get the buy signal down here somewhere on Monday, and by Friday it's up here, and very unlikely to come back down and reverse that buy signal. You could take it earlier, but generally you're waiting for Friday, yes, you're waiting for, at least wait till Friday to get your swing entry. And if it's close, I would wait till the close. Like if it's kind of off and on, buy and not buy, or buy or sell. If it's kind of blinking off and on, I would definitely wait. But if it's kind of a slam dunk, then you can go ahead and take it a little earlier. Tick weakening ADD seems relatively stable at 1,000, isn't it? I mean, it's at 952 right now, and it's made a lower low, and it's continuing to be red until I see some kind of reason for them to turn back green. But the biggest issue is you're not holding or improving as the market is, I mean, slamming to the upside. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight green bars, actually 6, 7 straight green bars with only one doji red in here. 8, 9, 10. So out of the last 11 bars, 10 are green, and you have the only red one is just a doge here, or a little indecision bar. Jacob, have you observed a buy sell trigger at certain times of the day? Example, 10:30 a.m. I assume you mean Eastern. 10 a.m. is a big news time, so you have 5:30 in the morning my time, or 8:30 Eastern. That's always a news drop, and then so you'll have like CPI and those things, and then at 7 a.m. my time, or 10 Eastern, they have like housing starts and beige, whatever things come out at those times. I don't chronicle them, but yeah, 7 o'clock is often a trigger. My time, so about 8 minutes. Let's see if we have anything today. I haven't even looked. Economic calendar. Today is Wednesday. No. Oh yeah. We have wholesale inventories here in just a minute. Well, about 7 minutes. And we'll likely get some kind of reaction from that. Now it doesn't have to be a big reaction, but generally you just get some kind of reaction at 7 if there's any kind of news. Um, so we'll see how that looks. Remember, we are above the pre-market high substantially now. We do have bullish context. We will take the first sell of the day, but we also understand that we are trending up right now. And as long as they hold VWAP in the 21, that remains active. So we will, if they can come back, hold, and then make a new high, that does signify a trend. And at that point, we kind of sit on hands. Patience is the biggest and hardest key to trading. Watching bars go up and down without doing anything is boring. So when you're trading and you start to get bored, go take a walk. Don't just trade for the sake of trading. Go do something else. Do some push-ups, whatever. Watch TV. You don't have to trade on any given day, and if it's a bad day for trading, don't trade. Seems you control the market every time you get one lately. Market sucks for trading. For the live streams, it hasn't been great. It's been trendy, and that's been tough. Let's see if we get a sell signal here. It's been a pretty strong move up, so it's going to take a little work for the sell signal to appear. Are you using your advanced decline indicator from TradingView? I'm using advanced decline line, and it's still pointing up. No, I use the ADD in Thinkorswim. It's a bar graph. Not a bar graph, but like a bar chart. There's also Fed minutes later, and for some reason there's a reaction to what everyone already knows. Yeah, they like to do that. They like to make you think the news is important, so they move the market around when all they're doing is repeating what Powell said, and then they'll be like, oh, but there was this note in there that said maybe we'll cut rates or something. That's why the market reacted. Probably. Brad and JR, welcome to the stream. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. I got the yawns. I'm tired. Babies and 5:30. Where you out? Well, 5 a.m., but today was 5:30. They used to always say in the Navy, hurry up and wait. So all we're doing, hurry up and wait. Advanced decline line still declining. It's down to 870 now. It was up as high as 1200, so it's delta's negative 400 right now from the open. Options prices are not pricing in a ton of volatility, which tells me for now, sometimes the option guys get it wrong, especially on surprise reversal days. But for now, it's not pricing in a ton of volatility, even though we have a pretty wide range. 26 down to 17 or whatever it was, 15. So, excuse me, that tells me they're trying to continue to, that the options makers or the market makers are still pricing higher. When they have low volatility, they don't expect major sell-offs or major breakdowns. And they don't consider, if they fall down to like 621 here, they don't consider that a major breakdown. That's just a normal market day movement. I'm talking where we're down like 70, 100 points. Need to take a pic of the rooster and show him to us. If I could find him, he's 2 yards away, or a yard or two away. There's turkeys and roosters over there. Turkeys, they're a little more calm, but the rooster, he's outrageous. I think he's on something. I don't know. Maybe they put something in his water. He's got no chill, that's for sure. His snooze button's like 38 seconds. Swati says the chirping birds are so soothing. It's like you're watching a golf tournament, right? Maybe I should commentate it like that. The green bar. Moving slowly up to down. This is going to be a tough one. Needs to make sure it gets to 625. That'll put me to sleep. Washington didn't believe in air conditioning, I guess, so we have the windows open because it's summer and in the mornings it's cool, so it's nice to have the cool air in, but it's been 90 every day, so during the middle of the day it's nasty. I mean, it's not so bad. I was in Vegas where it was 120, but in Vegas you had 2 air conditioners on a small house, so here there's no air conditioners on a big house. Hi Jacob, I joined a bit late this morning. Did you mention the HVO put and call walls earlier? I did. I did mention them. They're, I can zoom out a little so you can see them real quick though. So your 1-day max in your call wall, 625, 626 area. Looking for rejection off of this zone. Maybe getting it as soon as now. At high volume level 620, 619, another call wall down at 618, your put and your 1-day min all the way at 615. So this could turn nasty. I mean, they can run this. There's an expectation or a potential for 615 to get hit if this is a failed breakout, which would be a 100-point reversal, which would be a pretty substantial reversal at that. I prefer if they're going to do that, they go ahead and grab the high, which is 625 and change, 626 and change, so 620, 628. Yeah, they could go up and smack above the 1-day max and then go to the 1-day min. That'd be great, but mostly looking for a reversal off of this area, and we'll see what happens. Again, options pricing not telling me they're going to give us any kind of major meltdown, but the option levels are starting to widen. And when the option levels start to widen, that means price is going to start to expand. So again, the first day of that expansion, very often the market makers are a little caught off guard, but we'll see. As of right now, I would say it's unlikely we see a major breakdown. The ADD, though, still cratering. It's down to 750 now. Again, started over 1200, so it's down. Its delta is negative 500. All right, let's see if we get a trade here. We got 624 as our strike right now. Looking for a sell signal. The NASDAQ is the problem. I mean, ES isn't there yet, but it's a lot closer. NASDAQ is still on a green bar here. Where ES is trying to reverse. All right. So if we go look at NQ real quick, we should have time for that. You can see that NASDAQ is 3 red bars down and NQ is green. So we're not in alignment here. when we're not in alignment, that's not a great time to trade because you're going to get either chop or they're going to get back in sync. Usually, they will get back in sync, but in which direction we don't know. And so with one going up and one kind of trying to go down, it's coming back up now. But you can see these 3 bars. If we look at the last big bar, you got green, red, green, green, and on the SPY, you had red, red, red. So when you're out of sync like that, you're not going to get a signal because the indicator says, hey, yeah, we're moving down here, but NASDAQ isn't. So it's very unlikely to sell off, and that's when we get this big green bar going back the other direction. And this would not have been a great trade. So these are things the indicator looks at. You might be sitting here going, oh, there's the rejection off of 625. I need to get short here. The indicator says there's a rejection. What's the NASDAQ doing? Not rejecting. So we're not trading. So unless everything lines up, we don't trade because you have a much lower probability of getting those trades through. Now, can they still give us a sell signal here, and can this all fail? Yeah, but we're not there yet. Williamstown, that's exactly right. That's what I just was going over, and you had it nailed. Looks like NQ saved us from a stop out. That is correct. And I wouldn't say NQ did, I would say the indicator did because it's looking at the NQ as well. And that's something that people don't understand. They're like, oh man, this was a great setup. Why didn't it work out? Well, because you don't have time to look at 50 charts. You don't have time to look at 50 moving averages. You don't have time and still get in the trade at the right time. You're going to miss something. You're going to not see it. And so you see these 3 red bars on SPY and you go, hey, let's get short. And maybe you're right. I mean, they might be getting short. But the NASDAQ wasn't on board with getting short yet. So you may have gotten stopped out. You may have gotten, all kinds of things can happen. So that's why we look for the confluence, because it's really important. They're not going to go higher without both, and they're not going to go lower without both. They may chop around lower and higher, but they're not going to make a substantial move. NASDAQ is starting to turn red here, so hopefully we can get a sell signal. Yes, showing weakness now. NASDAQ still too strong though for now. ADD under 700 now. So I'm thinking we could have some downside movement here today, possibly even in a decent size. Remember, 6,300 on the ES was the area we were looking for a reversal. They got obviously a little higher than that, 63.18 or so, but if they break down here, this would be the area we were looking for them to fail from. So very good area here to try to find a short if they can. Obviously NASDAQ not allowing it. They're back to green again on NASDAQ. So until we get confirmation and confluence that we don't trade. And this is great because now, you know, VWAP is very often going to provide support, whether it be a bounce and then rejection or just a straight bounce. And so we didn't get caught getting a short right at VWAP and then getting, you know, returned. So next time down into VWAP, it'll be weaker and so on. So one trading tip I usually give is if you do get a sell signal right here, I usually say wait because you're probably going to get a bounce. You can get a much better price. And you can kind of see how it bounces. We did not get one here, so it doesn't matter, but just so you know, VWAP and 21 on the 5-minute chart, very strong support levels or resistance levels if they're coming from the bottom. All right, here we go. Let's see. Placing stops. Do you have a money price on the option? So I start with the chart. So let's say we got a sell signal right here at 624.17. 624.17 plus 50 cents is 624.67. So that would be my first stop. If they start to move down and we become profitable in the trade, then I move it over to options pricing. And so if the option was worth, you know, $1.30, we might have our stop at $1. Something like that. Just depends on, you know, the option. There's a lot of variables that go into that. But in general, my first stop is always 50 cents higher or lower, depending on which way we're going, than the current SPY price. So if SPY is at, like I said, 624.18 now, that would be 624.68 as a stop for a sell. The ADD is now down to 620, which is, you know, 600 delta to the downside and still moving lower. So this is not what you call a broad market buy. This is starting to get more concentrated, likely into the Mag 7. That's how bubbles work. Yesterday we had 5 trades. So far today, none. That's okay though. You know, sometimes you miss a trade. Sometimes you don't get a trade. Sometimes it's trending and you don't want to trade. So we'll be patient. We'll wait for what we need. Is VWAP above the 21 EMA or vice versa? VWAP is above, so it is in black. and the 21 EMA is in blue. Now, what I will say for the bulls is VWAP continues to climb and stay with price. And that is a bullish development. When price is weak to the upside, they're not buying it as much, so the volume is low. So that keeps VWAP lower. So when VWAP is up there climbing with price, that is telling you that there's some buying going on there. A decent amount of buying, I should say. Generally, when the 21 is over VWAP, that's bullish. Right now they're inverted because VWAP has climbed so heavily. But the ADD is telling a different story. It's down to 600 now. I do think a pullback is likely today. Just depends on if we get the right one. They're up near the 1-day max. And the call wall, the upper call wall. So there's plenty of room to the downside here should they find some weakness. But as of right now, we don't have any weakness on the NASDAQ. First negative tick of the day. There you go. It's a start. Just got to get the NASDAQ on board. Don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, at least the Rooster part of it, there hasn't been much trading because we just haven't had any setups. Hopefully we get one here shortly. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, tell your friends about it. Hey, there we go. We're going to get in here at 95 cents. 624. Stop's going to be 624.61. And we'll see if they can push down. So at 95, that's 9.5 times 2, which is 19 cents, which means 114 will be our first take. We'll make it 115 because I like round numbers, and this 114 is like right on VWAP. So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to get a 20% win. And then we're going to close half our trade. And the reason we do that is that helps cancel out our stop losses. So if we have 5 winners and 5 losers, the 5 winners 20% gains cancel out most of the 5 losers stop losses, and then any of the 5 winners that had runners give us profit. So very often you can get, we've had days where we've had 2 or 3 runners in a row. So you can get a lot of runners in a row that give you profit to cancel out any losing trades you have, or to give you profit and then the other ones cancel out the losing trades you have. So we're looking for, again, 115 here on the move down. Right now we're at 97 cents. We got in at 95 cents. Good morning, cats at home. Thank you for the rooster emoji. He's kicking butt today, taking no prisoners, making that sun shine. NQ is flashing sell. Yeah, we are short here. Yep. Sitting right above VWAP here. If they're able to get through VWAP, they should go down to 623.36 to test the 21, and then we'll see what happens from there. Remember, we are trading against the trend on a potential trend day. We don't know yet, but potential trend day. So we have to take that into consideration when we see these trades that our edge is not as good here, but still okay. And when the edge is right, typically you get a very strong, ugly reversal, which would be, always welcome. Okay, we're down to VWAP here. If they can push through that, VWAP starting to roll over a little bit. That's a good sign. Got to get through VWAP, and we should be able to come down to the 21. Again, it's down around 623.36, which was the open for the week. This will also provide decent support if VWAP doesn't. VWAP is the black line on the screen, Kane, and it's volume weighted average price. So it's the price based on how much of it is being bought. So if 1 million shares are bought at, say, 623 down here, and 200,000 are bought up here at 624, it's going to start turning down because there's more average price to the bottom because there's more volume at that level. If that makes sense. I hope I explained that okay. That as I said it out loud, it might have sounded confusing. So essentially, it's telling you where price is according to the most volume purchased, the average of the most volume purchased. And it's kind of considered fair price. So if you trade a baseball card, you may trade it for 2 times its value, or may trade it for half its value, but its value is fair price, and that's what VWAP is. It's kind of fair price. So essentially, the reason VWAP is important is because when the market is above VWAP and comes back, people are saying, okay, we came back to VWAP, now I can get fair price for the market. They buy it at VWAP expecting it to go back up again. When it comes in from the bottom, people want to short, but the value of the market's too low. So when it comes back to VWAP, there's looking at that and saying I'm getting fair price, so they want to short from that area. So that's why it's a important support resistance zone, because when it breaks, it tells you that the volume is coming in on the negative side. If it breaks down, if it breaks up, volume is coming in on the positive side, and people are willing to pay more for than fair price. And so they, the VWAP moves up or down. The stop is 624.61. Right now we're sitting basically at $1. VWAP was like $1.03. We got to get through VWAP and then we should collect. If they can't get through VWAP, we will likely stop out. Well, we will stop out if we can't get through, but my point is they got to get through VWAP for us to win. ADD down to 560 now and falling still. It is taking a beating today so far. Again, that is indicative of a market that when it's breaking out like it did so strongly, that this is a breakout that's going to get turned. But they got to be able to turn down some of the Mag 7 stuff, because that's going to be what holds it right now. So if they can flip any of the Mag 7 stocks to red, let's see if they have. Tesla and Apple slightly red, but they need to flip. Well, getting Nvidia down would help, but it's up 2%. If you've been following my room, we were looking for Nvidia to go to all-time highs, and it did, and it's still climbing toward our target. I believe 172 was our target, but that's something we were looking for in our room. They were there. It's not bad on VWAP here. You didn't get a snap reversal, which is a good thing, yet anyway. Usually when they start to sit on it like this, they're going to break through it. And when they're going to bounce it, you usually get a pretty sharp reaction. So we haven't gotten a sharp reaction yet. We're only one bar in. This is the second bar, but good to close that bar red and still right on VWAP, but we need to follow through here. Otherwise, the sharp reaction can come in the second bar. Remember, guys, the discounts you see on the screen are only available during the stream. So if we do have to shut down the stream here soon because trading is not great for the day, those discounts will go away. 30% off your first month, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee, or the yearly you get both Elliott Wave courses and a 30-day money-back guarantee with that as well, and you keep the courses. Really great deals for something that's just really doing well on the market. It is day in and day out providing winners. We may get one here shortly if we can get through VWAP. We're real close. There we go. Come on, push it through. In my rooms, we get all the updates as well as the indicator trades. You just get them later. Having the indicators highly advantageous because I have to put in my trade first, then I tell you what the trade is, and that takes a couple seconds, and price can move quite a bit in a couple seconds. All right, there's the breakdown of VWAP. Let's get down to the 21 here. We should be able to collect here. Okay, close half. Actually got 116 there, so a bonus penny. We got our next level of support here is the 21. So we're going to close half for 116. We're going to set our stops to 95. And there's the breakdown of the 21, so this is nice. As I said, the ADD being down typically leads to reversals. So all we were doing was waiting for that sell signal off of the key level. We got it, and we have a winner. And we will see if we can follow through here. The spike of the 21, generally the 21 is going to provide a reaction. So the spike of it, yeah, there's the reaction. So there's the bounce. You're just not going to move through those directly very often. Certainly possible, but not the most probable thing that's going to happen. So we'd like to see them kind of hold down here for this last minute and close on or below the 21. They can close on or below the 21. We can get some follow through. The next major level is going to be back testing the pre-market high at 622.81. They get below that, we can start to talk about gap closes and pre-market lows, which are way down here, 619. Can you talk about the swing trade signals? Yes, but Anthony, you're going to have to give me a little bit of time. Since we're in the middle of this trade, I want to stay on this screen and stay with the trade for now. And welcome to the stream. All right, closed at the 21. Here's follow through that we were looking for. So if they can break this low here, which should be the case, if they can break this low, then we can start talking about gap close. But they got to get below the pre-market high right here at 622.75. This is basically your opening print. Everybody's going to want to defend here, so we should get a reaction off of it. And if they don't get a reaction off of it, if they smoke it down into it, so we are going to close another half at 158. That's another half of your remaining. And then we're going to set our stops to 110. Well, they blew right through that. This is going to be a good trade. So our stops are at 110 now. We took another half at 158. We did that because it's the pre-market high. There's going to be a lot of times they come back and hold here and launch, and we don't want to lose. 158 is 63 cents on a 95-cent trade. That's 66% basically. And now we have a runner to catch the rest. Amazing, great trade. Thanks, guys. Thank you. It's always good to see the big Cliffords when you got to sell. So really nice. We've got our stop set to 110. We're going to move that up to 150. So our stop is now at 150. This is moving quick, so I'm trying to keep up with it. We're going to move our stops to 160. So if you watched the live or my YouTube video yesterday, I talked about contextual things, and some of those things are like the ADD. When it is at 1200 and is now sitting at 300, and the market was climbing higher, but at the time, it was the ADD was collapsing while the market was climbing. Then at that point, we're looking for the reversal because that's telling us that the market is weak to the upside. So we're looking for a reversal that will pay off, and we got one. The market, smashed down pretty good here. We've got a pretty nice guaranteed winner. But those are the types of things you're looking for. And if you look at your volume, so the volume on this selling bar right here dominates the opening print. The opening print and another bar here were both, pretty good buying bars as far as the opening print's generally one of your higher volume bars of the day besides the close. And this one is dominating that in volume. So how this bar closes will be interesting because of that. If they close it back up at the 21 or green, then the bulls have defended well on high volume. If they continue to push down, we can see follow through from the bears. I'd like to see them close below the opening print here at 620, whatever, 2278. If they close below that, that's a good sign, and they will. So that's something that is bearish to close below that, and we should, maybe not directly, there might be a little bounce here, but should see a gap close at some point today. At least the probability goes up that the gap is going to close today. If you guys made money on this trade, love the stream, love what you're hearing, anything like that, hit the like button, please. Subscribe, share the video, comment. Become a member if you're not a member. Get the indicator. Be part of the team, guys. We do this all the time. All the time. Are there days where we go, God, that sucked? Yeah, of course, it's trading. But we do this all the time where we've got a $2.23 option that we bought for 90 cents, 95 cents. We're going to move our stops up to 170. Nope, $2. Stops to $2. So now our stop is well over 100% gain on the last quarter of our trade. Really frustrating. I come here to make beer money, not to replace my salary. Quit spoiling us. You must like expensive beer, Jack, if you're getting beer money out of this. Again, guys, 30% off the first month. I don't know what you're waiting for. This is super simple. Even the bad trades are super simple. You get in, you get out real quick. You get emotional out of the game. You just take the trade, you make the money, you move on with your day. Or you take the trade, you get stopped out, you move on with your day. It's super, super simple. They want to break down here. Hopefully we don't get stopped. Maybe I move the stop up a little early, but I don't like to keep them much more than about 50 cents, especially when you come into a heavy support zone like right here. They bounced this area pretty strongly so far. I shouldn't say strongly, but they bounced that area so far. I've been known to drink Miller's Finest Light. Not the champagne? You don't go with the champagne of beers? You're not living the high life, Jack? That's when you put a big pat of butter on your burger. Ooh, almost. We got the 202 there. Held on. All right. Stopped out at $2. I'll have to do a little math here and I'll give everybody the average exit. $1.48 average exit on a 95-cent trade, so that's 53 cents. About a 60% winner there, pretty good. When you are a member, do you give real-time buy sell signals from you? Yes, I do. So you can either get the indicator and get them on your screen in your trading platform, which I recommend because it takes me time to get those trades out because I have to do my trade, type it in, and then you get it. It's only a few seconds, but we've seen the market move a lot in a few seconds. Reversal candle, maybe. It's pretty low volume, and it's decent volume actually. It's pretty decent volume on that candle. We'll see if they can build off of it. This is a area of support right here, but with the full breakdown, I still would expect them to come down to the pre-market low, 619.19 or 619.90. I would expect that to get tagged. When you are really deep in the money, why not just let the next buy signal close out the trade so you don't get stopped out unnecessarily? Well, because, let's go look here. See if I can find one for you. Because, let's say you were in this sell right here. This buy didn't actually strike until up here at 620. And you were all the way down here at 619. So I mean, that's a huge amount to take there of loss. And it can go quite far before you get the reversal. It doesn't have to be right at the top or bottom. So for me, that's just how I do it. You're welcome to trade however you like. I mean, that's the more aggressive strategy, but I mean, that's up to you. Where is your initial stop set on a trade? 50 cents above or below the SPY price. So if let's say we got a long right now at 622.18 or whatever, 622.18. So if we got a long there, our stop would be 50 cents below 622.18. So it's like what, 621.78? All right. or 668, 622.68. So it's 50 cents above or below whatever the SPY price is. Yeah, 154 average entry, 94 for 1,429 profit on 24 contracts. Awesome. Great job, Maxime. Hi, Brian. Oh, sorry. Reading two different chats. Brian is not in this chat, so I'm talking to no one. He might be in this chat. I gotta answer him in a different chat. So even though they gave us the look of a reversal bar off of some support here, you got to remember failed breakouts lead to a touch of the pre-market low or the bottom of the range. So the overall range is going to be the pre-market low. So I very, very much expect this to get hit down here at 619.87. Whether it happens in a direct lookout like this, or they kind of give you something like this, but I do expect that pre-market low to get hit. So they failed to make this a trend day for now. And the reason they failed is they broke above the pre-market high. So the pre-market high was here. They broke above it. And on the back test of the 21, or I'm sorry, VWAP, the 21 and the pre-market high, they failed all three of them. So it's a failed breakout. So it is not a trend day, which means we're very likely to come down here and close the gap, hit the pre-market low, and potentially even lower. We closed the gap on the SPY and testing yesterday's high. We did not close the gap on the SPY. Yesterday's close is 620.3. That would be where the gap is. So if we go here and I take off after, oh, that's not what I want to do. You can see that the gap's down here. So the gap is not closed. I thought the gap was not close related, but related to yesterday's high. No, yesterday's close. So the gap is from yesterday's close to today's open, whether it's up or down. Now, a range gap, so there's two things, right? There's a range gap, and then there's a gap. and they're both essentially the same, but so you have price here. This is where the close is, and yesterday's high was, let's say, here, and they open in here somewhere, but they've gapped up. So they gapped up, but they're still within the range of yesterday. So it's not a quote unquote true gap up as far as extending the range, but you would still close the gap down here in either case. If they gap up here extending the range, the gap close is still down here, and if they gap up not extending the range, the gap close is still down here. I hope that made sense. A true gap up is when they gap over yesterday's high. That's a true gap up. Any gap up is higher than yesterday's close or lower than yesterday's close. A gap down is when they take out yesterday's low overnight and open below that. That's a true gap down. And then a range gap is where they gap down but stay within the range of yesterday. New lows here, again, expecting them to come down and close the gap, at least, but very, very likely hit 619.90. Out of curiosity, not that any of you have to use it, out of curiosity, did the super chats start to appear as a possibility? I don't think they would because I was midstream, so I doubt they updated midstream, but I guess it's certainly possible. Thanks for all these nuances. No problem. That's the whole point of me doing this, is to help you guys understand things you may not have understood before, help you trade better, help you make money, most importantly. If it's a continuation move down, we will not get another sell signal, will we? No. You get the indicator is in a sell right now, so it's saying I don't need to issue another sell signal. We're doing the same thing I said we were doing before. I mean, it's always nice to catch a full move, but it's generally impossible. And you'll find that it's way more profitable to take profits at key levels. You'll find that over time that is the case, because again, just like the indicator is looking for reversals, so is the market. So they may bounce and we've got a long here and they come up to the pre-market high and we take profit there, because more often than not they're going to do this. Sometimes they're going to do this, but more often than not they're going to do this. So we always take some profit at key levels and try to leave our runners to go. But if they get stopped out, they get stopped out. That's just the way it goes. Thanks, cats at home. I appreciate that. So we now have completed the sell cycle, but the ADD is collapsing still. It's down to 137 now. Let me look at the other stuff. The VOLD is red. It's negative. The SPY has turned negative on the VOLD, as is the NISI. The market is now below the opening print. This is starting to look like a potential, the potential for a fallout. Now the one-day minimum is all the way down at 615, so there is potential for the bottom to fully drop out here. How do you know that the trend is ending a buy cycle or sell cycle? Well, you don't necessarily know that. Um, we built in logic to the indicator that allows it to understand weakness and see that weakness before the reversal or as the reversal is happening. So it didn't see weakness yet here, likely because of volume, and then it came up, and then volume came in, and it said, okay, we're good, let's go, or something like that. I don't know, I'd have to look at the exact readings, but something caused it to say it wasn't strong enough on this initial move down. Oh, the NASDAQ did, that's what it was. The NASDAQ wasn't following along, so it said, hey, we're not ready to sell here. There's not enough weakness across the market. It's got to be across the market. And then it bounced and the NASDAQ started to weaken and it said, okay, now we're seeing the weakness broad, so we can issue a sell signal, and then we miss out, we dodge this potential stop out here and we get the actual trade. But it's calculating it based on a number of items. There's price, there's volume, there's moving averages, there's the MACD, there's prior high. I mean, there's just a lot of different support and resistance zones, a lot of different things that matter. Gamma flow, options flow, all of it goes into it, and it calculates it all instantly so that you don't have to. You know, one of the biggest problems I had in day trading before the indicator was you're always missing something. So you get a setup on a chart that you're looking at and you're like, this is great. And then it fails and you're like, oh man, that stinks, it failed. It seemed like a good setup. And then you go back and you're looking at other charts and you're like, oh, I see what happened here. It was a setup on the ES, but the NASDAQ was ripping higher or something. You know, insert whatever I missed here. And so you'd make trades that you wouldn't have normally made if you saw all the data. Well, all the data can be on 30 charts, you know, the time frames, because it's looking at all the time frames. All the data can be on the daily chart, the hourly chart, the 5-minute chart, the NASDAQ chart, the SPY chart, the ES chart, all of these different things that we're looking at, volume, price, previous highs and low, you know, support and resistance, where are the options levels, all the things that you can't look at the same time, it is. And that's why it's so effective. And that's why it's so different than other indicators, because it's looking at multiple charts, it's looking at multiple indicators, it's looking at multiple levels, and it's calculating all of that at once and giving you a nice, quick, easy buy-sell signal, making it super simple. Again, guys, 30% off the first month. And if you want to get the yearly, you get the Elliott Wave Advanced and Beginner's course for free, $177 value. And on both of them, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so that if it's not doing what I say, which you just saw on the screen, it did what I said. If it's not doing what I say, or you're unhappy with it, you can get a refund and move on. It's not for everybody. Following the rules is hard. Trading properly is hard. And most people that cancel don't know how to do those things. I'll be honest. When I send feedback, ask for feedback of why people cancel, almost always it's I didn't follow the rules, or they'll tell me they didn't make money for a week, that we made lots of money, and that'll tell me that they're not following the rules. So it's really simple to understand. Sometimes it's really hard to do. You always use the 5-minute chart for the indicator? I do. Otis says it's super simple. Thank you, Otis. I tried to make it as easy as possible because I know how difficult trying to calculate everything can be and see everything at once. So we wanted everything to be rolled up into a package so that nice and easy. Keep it simple, stupid. That's my motto on everything. People want to overcomplicate things, and I'm like, it may work, and it may work for you, but keeping it simple works for everybody. David, the reason I use the 5 minute chart for day trading is I think it's kind of the sweet spot of 1 minute. There's too many false signals and too many signals, period. And the indicator. So the indicator is looking for on the 5 minute chart. It's looking for roughly 7 to 10 points of ES movement that have potential. In other words, it thinks in this sell cycle, it thinks we're going to drop 10 points, and if it can break support and they get a little momentum, it can fall through the floor like it's done here. So on the 5 minute chart, you're looking for about 7 to 10 points, whereas on the 1 minute chart, you're probably looking for 2 to 3 points, and on the 15 minute chart, it takes a while to get the signal, but you're looking for more like 20 to 25 points, but you have a higher rate of failure, in my opinion. So I think it's kind of the sweet spot of where to be for day trading because you're looking for quick wins and runners, and it gives you early enough entry that's not too early like the 1 minute, but not too late like the 15 minute, and it gives you a big enough setup that you can make substantial money. I always tell people, if you haven't been a winning trader, especially a winning day trader, which 95% of people who day trade are losers, that's statistically accurate. You shouldn't come in with the idea of how to tweak anything. If you found a successful system and a proven successful trader who has done this over and over, day in and day out, week in and week out, which I have done and proven, you should follow the rules. And it doesn't have to be me. If you don't like my system, cool, that's okay. If you find another trader that you find who is successful and gives you a system that works, the last thing you should do is put your input on it. You have never been a winning trader. You are not a winning trader, at least not at the levels you want to be, or you wouldn't be seeking help. So the last thing you should do is be saying, how can I improve this? You should just be saying, how can I use this the exact way it's supposed to be used? All right, guys, moving into this week's average and another support zone. Lower level of support. Excuse me. But support nonetheless. It's certainly viable to think that you could get, this kind of deal, but I do still think we come down to 619.90 at a minimum and tag that today. They're a little far from the 21 in VWAP, so a back test here would not be unreasonable. We would potentially be looking for a buy here. We have obviously run a deep enough cycle to get through a sell cycle. I don't know how much I would love a buy signal. I don't think they're going to collapse or anything, but I do think they have lower to go. We could steal one here maybe. I'm looking at a 622 call right now. Should we get a long here? What is it that determines the end of a buy or sell cycle? It's several factors. If you rewind the video about 10 minutes, I answered that question. But it's several factors. You won't see them because, like I said, the indicator calculates about 175 different things. Some of them are support and resistance, some of them are volume, some of them are moving averages, MACD, oversold, overbought. There's a lot of different things that go in there. Is it based only on price action or also time? Time is factored in, but not as heavily. It's a very low percentage of the factor. Doesn't feel like a green day, but it is. Market's up 0.25%. The ADD did find some support at the 0 line, which is what you do want to see if the bulls are trying to maintain. It's back up to positive 128 after going all the way from a little over 1200 to 0. Somebody asked about the weekly signals, the swing trades. So we're going to go to the weekly chart here real quick. I'll keep an eye on this on a different screen. So for the weekly, you got the buy signal right here at 568, 566, excuse me, 566. They ran it up to what, 613, 625. So 25 and 66 is, or 25, excuse me, 34 is 59 points, pretty much straight up here on this buy signal. This sell signal you had to fade a little bit. You probably made some profit and got stopped out depending on how you did it, but ultimately it was down like 100 points. I gave you the sell signal here at 594 and they dropped it all the way down to 490, so 104 points of downside on this sell signal here. This sell signal gets stopped out right here. However, on the weekly chart, when you get a stop, that is a reversal, so we take the long there. So we had a sell, came up, it got stopped out. The sell was at like 562. We got the sell stop at like 570. So you had 8 points of upside, you got the sell stops. This was a 8-point of upside loss, but you reversed to a long here at 571 and they ran it up to 609. So you had 29 and 9, 38 points of upside there. This sell signal would have made money because of the drop here. You should have made money, taken a small profit here, and then got stopped out on the run back. This sell signal here, depending on how you operate, I try to stay in until I get the sell stop, but you should have made money here back to the 21. So you got the sell at about 509. They ran it down to 494. And then this buy signal was a monster. You got in at 448. They ran it all the way up to 514. This sell signal was a monster. This sell stop turns into a buy. That was a winner. So the swing trades, I mean, they're pretty darn good. And when they aren't good, you flip on them and they, you just crush. So I am a big fan of the weekly swing on the charts. And that's really good for your 401k and things like that, You can protect your money very well with it. Right now we're in a long buying cycle, so you should be long the market until we get a sell candle, a weekly sell candle, or something. That I'm not very deep in the S&P. I'm in precious metals right now. Last April, so a year and a half ago, two Aprils ago, 2024, we moved into the EK Wax Fund. So if I come down here, I don't know if it'll come up. I always have trouble clicking it on the chart. We'll see. We may get a buy signal. I won't do it yet. In fact, what I'll do is put it on a different one. Let's save this. Maybe. Wait for that to come up. Come on. So this is a precious metals fund in April of 24, which was right here. We got in at about 49, and it's currently, it ran up to 92, so 49 times 2 is 98, so almost 100% gain, you know. I think we're doing okay on our precious metals with our 401k. I think the people who took that are very happy. So there's a lot more in my room than day trading. There's we manage our 401ks, we swing trade. There's a lot of learning on the videos. We go through all the stocks on the daily video. So anything you want to ask about. And now that Super Chats is working, I'm going to go with George's recommendation, which I really like. He said $5 if you want to go through a symbol on here for a Super Chat, and we'll go through it and break it down and do that. Or you can join the rooms and get in the calls and do it that way. But I think that's a fair deal. I don't want to take everybody's requests for charts because we're here to do the indicator. But if you were gonna, do it through the Super Chat, that would be a way to do it that makes sense. The best value though is just to join the room and get the indicator, because you get the power of the indicator, and then you also get bonus feedback. So there are days where I can just tell trading's gonna suck, and we don't take some of the signals because it's not going to make sense and we're not going to make money. And more often than not, those are correct, and that saves us a lot of money. That's not often. There's not often that, other than trend days. Trend days we all know should not be traded. But it's not often that you're going to get a range day where the trading is terrible. It does happen, and when it does, I can usually kind of figure it out pretty quick. And that can help you as well. So to me, the best option is the indicator in the rooms, but that's up to you guys. You're getting 30% off the indicator right now. You do get a 1 week free trial in the rooms, so you can test it out and see what you think. 30% off the first month of the indicator, I should say. Normal price after that, and then on both the yearly and the monthly 30-day money back guarantee. Chopping down here, kind of flagging. So again, still expecting to hit 619.90, the pre-market low. We have a failed breakout. Broke down below the print, the opening print and the pre-market high. Very likely we come down to the pre-market low. ADD falling again, back to negative 50. As any of the MAG 7 XLK is red. Apple now solidly red. Tesla solidly red. Nvidia still solidly green. SMH was up much more than this earlier, so they're pulling back a little bit. So we are seeing a little bit of weakness in the Mag 7, which is allowing the market to drop a little bit. Hi Jacob, thanks for your insights. Is there a reason you trade SPY versus something like NQ or ES? Yeah, it's mostly laziness. And what I mean by that is I started trading SPY when I was younger, a lot younger, and about 20 years ago, and never switched and never bothered to learn trading futures in a way that I'm comfortable with. So it's mostly that I just didn't bother to learn futures. I understand that there are tax benefits and other things that go better with futures, but I've always been comfortable and successful doing the SPY, so that's just what I do. But this works on ES and NQ as well. Because they're all, I mean, they all get this. If we go to the ES or NQ, you're going to see. So let's just go to the ES real quick. You'll get the exact same sell signal you have on the SPY. So on ES, you got the sell signal up here at 6,300. So you've got about 28 points so far, 20 points of ES drop on this, which is a nice capture. Same thing on the NQ, you're going to see the sell in the exact same spot. Actually, one before it here. Or no, that's the same bar, it just looks different. Same bar, and then straight down drop. So it works on all the charts, I just happen to trade the SPY. Some of you guys out there haven't hit that like button. Only takes a second. Sorry, maybe if I say it in the right terms. Get out there and smash that like button. The marketing things people come up with crack me up. I'm sure it works. That's probably why they all say it. It's just silly to me. Like button smashed. Thanks, John. Send me the info I want to buy. David, the info's in the description below the video. You can click that link. Otherwise, you can go to investwithjacob.com right here. Investwithjacob.com member plans. But if you just put investwithjacob.com and go to membership plans right here, you can scroll down. And then, guys, when you're putting in the coupon code, make sure you don't forget. I'm going to do it on the yearly because it won't let me, because it'll tell me I already have the monthly. Just what anyway. So when you come down and you're going to get the thing, it says right here, have a coupon, and you put in the coupon code right there. I'm going to put in whatever because there is no coupon code for this one. You hit enter, and this will turn green when the coupon is accepted. Okay, so make sure you do that. It can be a little bit tricky to find that. Then you either pay with credit card or PayPal. Hit sign up, and then you'll enter your payment information. You don't do it on this screen. So whether you want to do credit card, PayPal, hit sign up, and then you'll put in your payment information. Once you get in, if you don't have a TradingView account, I have a link so you can get one at a discount. Please use that. It'll help you out. I also get a kickback for that, but you get a discounted account. So we both win. You'll give me your TradingView username, and then you have all the training videos on how to set it up and use it right there. I don't hear the rooster anymore. Oh, maybe somebody's having chicken dinner. Probably got laryngitis. Do we eat male chickens? I don't even know. There's a question for you. Are all the chickens we buy female or are they male? Google listens. Yes, roosters are eaten by people, while hens are more commonly raised for meat and eggs. Roosters are also a source of meat, especially when they are young. There you go. But Google listens because I said, do we eat? And it filled in roosters. There's no way that people are typing that in regularly, and so I'm being spied on. You need a TradingView premium account. Yeah, so it gives you all the information right here. It'll tell you exactly what account you need. So if you come up, you will need at least an essential account on TradingView, and then you need this right here, which is the real-time data add-on. It's $7. So it's not too expensive, but you need that in order. Even if you're not trading the futures, you need it because it tracks with how the indicator works. Microphones are always on. That's a fact. I think Facebook is more of a survey company than it is or a data gathering company than it is a quote unquote social network. All they're doing is selling data for billions of dollars. So remember, they will always come back to the 21, and they'll do that one of two ways. One, the easy way, they will just come back and tag it like this, or in this case, tag it and go through. Or two, they will consolidate and let the 21 come down to price. So keep that in mind when you think, oh, they got to get back up to the 21. Well, they can do that by just going sideways and having what they call a pullback in time. So it doesn't always have to be a full-on reversal. It can just be some consolidation, let the moving averages catch up, and then continue the pattern. Let's see if we get a buy here. Could be building a right shoulder for an inverted, I'm guessing. Should be getting a buy here any second. If we look at the last 3 to 4 days, to me it looks like we made a small A, completed a B with the morning high. Yeah, I mean, that was the primary count, that 6300 ES, which is basically what held. They were a little above that, but 6300 ES was the target area we were looking for them to pull back off of, and then we'd see what kind of structure we got. So far, I could probably count this as 5 down. So we'd probably look for a little bounce here and continuation if that's what it's going to be. But yeah, you could definitely count it as A and B so far. 621 or 622. I currently have 622 queued up, John. John Randall, I'm on a trial with you. Want NQ info. Not sure where to be looking within your Discord. I appreciate your products. So I try to give the levels in the mornings of what we're looking for NQ, and then of course I give all the updates on it. So for trading NQ or the Qs, any trade signal I give out for the SPY is the same, because they're all NQ, ES, and SPY are all trading on buys and sells at the same time when we get them. That's why we get them. So this sell right here, if you were on the NQ, would have been exactly the same. Sell right here. In fact, well, if we weren't getting ready to get a trade, I would show you, but NQ gets the same signal. So you can just trade the NQ the same as ES. Okay, there's our buy signal right there. We're going to get 90 cents. And our stop is going to be 621.30. Our strike is 622 at 90 cents. Our stop is 621.30. We're going to look for $1.08 as our first take. So I'm getting that set up. Let's see if our buy signal can run up at least to the 21. The 21 should give us a winner. We are at 96 cents already, so hopefully we can get to that $1.08 on this bounce, and then see if the bulls have any juice left to run it higher. I don't care what happens in the market, guys. I tell you what I think is going to happen, but what I really care about is making money. So if the bulls run this straight through the roof and they don't go down and hit 619.90 like I thought they would, that doesn't matter to me. I'm going to make a lot of money when they do that. So I'm not telling you those things because I don't think they're probable. I do still think we'll hit 619.90. We may bounce here and then come down and hit it. But those aren't necessarily tradable things. They're just the highest probability outcome of what I'm looking at. I trade what the indicator tells me because it is smarter than me and it's looking at all the data. So I'm not trying to beat it or out trade it. I'm just trying to tell you the observation of how the market generally works. When you have a failed breakout that breaks down below the opening print, very often you get gap close and pre-market low tagged. Very often. Okay, close half for $1.08. We're going to set our stops to 90. Not bad, 2 for 2 today with one really good one, and so far we'll see on this one. So the indicator works fine for scalping NQ and is only available on TradingView. That is correct, John. Again, if you don't have a TradingView account and you want to get the indicator, you can click this link right here. Click here to open a new TradingView account. It'll give you a discount. Full disclosure, I do get a kickback from TradingView for that, but you get a discounted account. So we both win. And again, I try to remember to say this every week. I don't ever recommend stuff just for the commission. So what do I call that? Affiliate marketing. I only recommend things that I absolutely use, love, and or either have used and love. Sometimes, there's stuff for beginning traders that I don't need anymore, so I don't use it, but I'll recommend it if they ask. TradingView is one I personally highly recommend. I love it. I think it's a great software. But I don't ever do affiliate marketing just to make a buck. In fact, TradingView is the only thing I have as an affiliate marketing account right now because I don't want to, one, constantly push products on people. It's annoying. And two, I'll never do anything just for money. I have a soul and I have a code and a moral value that says don't screw people over. So if at any time you feel like you're getting bad service or you have my service and something's wrong or I missed an email or something, that certainly isn't intentional. I try to give good customer service to everybody and I only recommend things that I love. I try to be a stand-up person and human because trading can be run by shysters and assholes, and I try not to be those things. All right. Can they beat the 21 in VWAP, or is this going to be rejection zone? All right, there's the stop out at 90. We stole a little bit there, so we get out at 99. A little 10% winner. But those add up, guys. Those are the ones that help cancel out stop losses. They just ran down and tagged our stop, and now they're going to go. That's jerky. Remember, you're going to get stopped by a penny sometimes. You're going to get saved by a penny sometimes. You're going to get a winner where you probably should have had a loser. There's just going to be times where things don't go exactly how you thought, or they go better than you thought. And those things all even out. So if they do jam it higher here, don't chase, don't get crazy, don't FOMO. It just, you made a little bit of money, and you wait for the next trade where it's a little easier or a little better. This is a high rejection point, so there's no guarantee they're even going to run here, but it's always frustrating when you get stopped out and then the market goes the way it's supposed to go, or the way you thought it would go. But you got to be able to block out those feelings and just say, I'll wait for the next one. The 5-minute 21 EMA rarely disappoints, stiff arming a decent run. Yeah, it's that and VWAP are, that's why they're on my screen, because they're great places to take profit, because they very often reject the initial move. Execution mistake, sold it all for 20%. Well, you did better than us. We got 10%. So I don't know if it was a mistake, but now I know what you mean. That happens sometimes. So this is what we call a one bar winner. We got in the bar, we got out the bar, and then we got out the trade because of the pullback here, the little dip. So a little one bar winner, go along with our nice rundown here for big winner there. Good trade. So Good day today so far, 2 for 2 with a runner and a small winner. And remember, guys, I say this every week too because it's important to understand context. People think that you need to make all this money in one trade. If I told you that you could make 16 cents a day trading 25 contracts, you'd make $100,000 a year trading options. You'd probably not believe that or not know that that was the case. But 16 cents a day is $400 a day, which is $2,000 a week, which is $104,000 a year. You take out a few weeks worth of holidays, and you're about at $100,000. So keep in mind, it doesn't take a lot. It just takes consistency. It takes discipline, a good trading plan, and an edge. And the indicator is your edge. And hopefully you can use that to your advantage to watch your account grow and take vacations, retire, let your wife stay home from work, whatever. That's up to you. There's a lot of cool things that happen when you follow the rules. So the indicator when in a sell or buy cycle will issue at stops rather than buys or sells. I'm not sure I understand that question. I will tell you that right now we're still in a sell cycle. So this is a sell cycle, right? Even though we got a buy signal, what happened was the sell cycle started to weaken. So when the selling cycle weakens, we get a buy signal. We're still in the selling cycle. As we move up, eventually we will transition into a buy cycle. You guys won't know when that happens, but it happens. Or the trade fails and we stay in the sell cycle, at which time you would get a long stop. So if we fail here and turn down, you will see an LS come up, which you see all these SS's here. You had a sell, it did not complete the cycle. You got an SS or a short stop, market moved back up. You got a sell, short stop, market moved up. This is why we don't trade pre-market, by the way. It's gross. So right now we're still in a selling cycle. Once that cycle ends, if they go up here and do enough to get the cycle to end, then you can get a sell signal like that. But as of right now, we're still in a sell cycle until the buy cycle until it transitions into this buy cycle. What the indicator tries to do, and does pretty effectively, is look for the end of these cycles and get you in as close to the bottom or top of them as they can. As you can see, this one was pretty darn close to the top. And probably would have got you in over here because ES was ready to go, but NASDAQ wasn't. But got you in pretty darn close to the top. This one got you in fairly close to the bottom and got you enough room to make money here on this move. So it's looking for spots where it thinks the market can continue 7 to 10 points. So in this case, right up here into VWAP, and then we'll see what happens. If it does this, then it's even a stronger move and you make more money. If not, it was still successful. And the 21 is still stiff arming this move up, so the rules are working the way they were designed. We hopefully took profit at about as good as we could have on this move. There was no runner, so we got stopped out on the move down, and typically we would see this fail here. I'm sorry, typically if they're going to continue to the downside, we would see this fail here. And there's the failure off the 21. The market does the same stuff over and over and over again. Once you realize that, and you see the patterns and you see what to look for, and then you have the indicator and the edge, I mean, it's all pretty simple, honestly, to create a repeatable edge to beat the market. So it didn't matter where our stops were, we were going to get stopped on that last bar anyway. Um, we'll see if they try to hold and push here. But they just did a nice stop run there. Ugh. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for today. We're 2 for 2. We had a really nice day. Slow moving. We're not going to get another buy signal here for a little bit. If anything, they're going to have to go down, break down, and then give us a buy signal. If they move up, it's going to take a little while to get a sell signal. So we had 2 good trades today. And don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget that the 30% off discount does end at the end of this stream. Once I get everybody set up, it will go away. So do make sure you take advantage of it. And we'll do this again next Wednesday. We always do. Thanks for being here, everyone. And we will go ahead and call it here. Thank you guys very much.